One of the QAnon leaders turns out to be a pedophile. And we learn this because he also happens to be incredibly stupid and decided to file a defamation lawsuit, an ill-fated defamation lawsuit that led to a discovery process where we learned about the case involving him sleeping with a 15-year-old girl. Now, at the heart of this story is Phil Godlewski, who's got quite a following, to be sure, with more than 600,000 followers on the social media app Telegram and 156,000 subscribers on the alternative video platform Rumble. He profits from encouraging his fans to sign up for financial arrangements like a multi-level marketing scheme that sells silver. Earlier this year, he used his QAnon earnings to buy a $1.7 million house. But then he made a lot of dumb decisions, including filing this defamation lawsuit, which of course he lost, and we learned a lot of details about his past. So let's get to those details. Let's skip ahead. And I do wanna give you a trigger warning because we're gonna get into details about what he did, what he said to the 15-year-old girl. It is triggering for sexual assault, people who have suffered from sexual assault. So I just wanna make sure you know that we're about to get into some details here that are difficult. But let's go to graphic 3 here. In 2008, 9 years before QAnon began, a 25-year-old Godlewski worked as a high school baseball coach in a school district outside of Scranton. That's where he met a 15-year-old female high school freshman referred to in court records as BD. The student's boyfriend died by suicide soon after they had met, and the baseball coach comforted her. So perfect opening for him to be a disgusting predator. A few months later, with BD still 15 years old and Godlewski a decade her senior, he's 10 years older than her. So he's 25, she's 15, okay? They began a sexual relationship according to police records and a sworn affidavit from Godlewski's victim that was filed in court in November. Now he love bombed her, right? He showered her with gifts, according to police reports, and a letter written by her parents filed into the defamation record, including a $2,800 pair of diamond earrings. He also lavished her with attention in the form of text messages, not smart, that laid out details of their sex life with more than 300 messages in one day alone. So what did the messages say? How bad is this? Very bad. So in one, he wrote that they would only ever be sexually satisfied if we did it like 4 to 5 times a day. In another, he allegedly wrote that the teenager looked so good and was giving incredible head while lamenting his own sexual performance. He also allegedly provided her with a log of his ongoing thoughts over several days, many of which were about his struggles with their illegal age difference. Realize that you're only 15, but quickly stopped caring, one of the messages read.
Of course.
Why are we so compatible, read another. I'm 10 years older than you. And in 2010, he was indicted on a raft of charges related to the alleged sexual relationship. In her recent affidavit, BD claims that he contacted her and begged her to recant her claims against him, threatening to kill himself if she didn't. In response, she stopped cooperating with law enforcement in the case. He ultimately pleaded guilty to a lesser count of corruption of a minor, receiving 3 months under house arrest. Now, he denies that there was ever a sexual relationship, but remember, through that discovery process in the defamation lawsuit, you learn about the text messages. You learn about the evidence in that case. So you can deny it all you want, but you put it in writing, you idiot. And remember, QAnon is the group that goes around accusing others of being pedophiles. I mean, how many of these stories do we need to do where the people accusing others of being groomers and pedophiles end up having some pretty significant skeletons in their closets?
Yeah, as usual, of course. So look, the people who believe in QAnon, I think there's 3 buckets there. One is people who will believe any conspiracy theory, and you've probably met somebody like that in your life. I know I have. You tell them anything. The Earth is flat, the moon landing didn't happen, and they'll believe it. right? Pedophile ring in a pizza shop in a basement that runs the whole country. They'll believe it in a second, right? So you've got that group. And then you've got a group that's actually, my heart goes out to. You're saying, QAnon, how could your heart go? Because there is some percentage of those folks who are victims themselves. So since it happened to them, they understandably think it happens to everyone or to a ton of people. And so when you tell them, oh, they're powerful people do pedophilia, they go, of course they do. I know I suffered it, right? So unfortunately, they're very susceptible to that kind of idea. Then the person coming in can fill in the blank as to who is running the pedophile ring. They could say dentists, they could say Democrats, and those folks are more prone to believe it. A lot of them, of course, don't. A lot of them are very rational and know that it's trauma that they lived through, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody does it. But unfortunately, some percentage are susceptible. Okay, and the third bucket is the worst, and that's the bucket he's in. And it's almost always the leaders. They're the ones who are the pedophiles that are projecting. They think, well, I can't wait to sleep with children, so I assume everybody can't wait to sleep with children. And so the Democrats must also want to sleep with children, so I'll accuse them of that, and that'll be really effective. And besides, which is probably true, because doesn't everybody want to sleep with children, right? And that is what a lot of their leaders think. And this guy goes, he already slept with children. So he probably thinks, of course, right? Of course the Democrats want to do the same thing I want to do. No, we're not all monsters.
Yeah.
But the leadership of QAnon has a stunningly high percentage of being groomers and pedophiles. So just be careful who you're listening to.
And I'm gonna end it here because this is, I mean, this guy, I mean, when he succeeded in getting her to stop cooperating and he got to plead guilty to a lesser charge, after that, he felt probably invincible because he got into contact with her again, and get a load of what he said to her. In a March 2021 text message, according to the defense attorneys, he texted the woman to express his condolences on her grandfather's death and alluded to their sexual relationship. "I had no idea your papa died," he wrote in a text message, according to court filings. "I'm so sorry. I think we had sex in their bed though."
Bragging about how he had sex in the dead grandfather's bed. He also offered her basically bribes when the trial came about, saying, oh, there could be a big payday for you if you help me with the defamation lawsuit and lie about it. And lastly, you noticed earlier, the way that he got out of criminal prosecution was threatening to kill himself because he knew that her boyfriend had killed himself.
Yeah.
And she was super vulnerable to that. This is one of the worst people I've ever heard of, except for all the other QAnon leaders. So just because somebody tells you something online, not meaning it's true, okay?
Yeah.
So for God's sake, verify. And when you hear guys like this, understand that they're usually the ones doing it. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.